Hello, my Zentangle friends. This is Barbara Langston, CZT, Certified Zentangle Teacher, and I hope that you're having a great day. Today I'm going to show you 3 patterns that are new to me. The first one, or one of them, is called Heartswing. And now I don't have the name of the person that did it, but Heartswing, and I will put it in the description and the name of the video. One is called HeartX by Barbara Watson, and the other one is called Mysterious Heart by Nicole. And these are all 3 new to me, and I'm just going to put them together on a tile just to give you some new patterns to think about as we get closer and closer to Valentine's Day. And I reached for a tile to work on, and the first thing I pulled out happened to be an Apprentice tile, and that's what the Zentangle headquarters happens to be focusing on in their latest project pack. So I thought, that's cool. Okay. So this is, in case you don't have these, 4.5 inches wide. And it's just going to give me a little bit more room to do what I want to do. So I'm going to take a deep breath and tell you that I'm very grateful to all of you who watch my videos. I appreciate the wonderful comments that I get. It just makes my day. And just thankful to have Zentangle in my life. And I've, as time goes on, decided to just make this a way for me to share what I know and inspire you. And for the most part, I don't charge for what I do because I just enjoy sharing it. Okay, so that said, you're always welcome to donate to coffee.com, and that's in the description. Okay, so what I'm going to use today, pencil, Micron 01, and I'm going to use pastel chalk pencils. I have several different colors, and it looks like I need to sharpen a couple of these, but I have several different colors that are from Generals. And then this one, I believe, is that's Stabello. I'm not sure how to say that one. And I was just looking for colors that are pinks and purples for coloring my hearts. And then I have several tortillons. This one looks like it was green. This one's black, purple, because I mark them in pink. All right, so we are going to start with corner dots. And just to give me an idea of where I want to place these patterns. So, our dots. And then your border doesn't have to be perfectly straight. I always say I don't do perfect, but I love Zentangle and the freedom I have to just have fun with it. Okay, so I'm going to do the pattern HeartX first. And so I'm going to create a string for that. I'm going to make it kind of a ribbon. So I'm just going to make an arch. It goes across. And then echo that. Okay, so that's going to be just kind of a guideline. And let me show you real quick how this pattern works. This is new, by the way, on tanglepatterns.com. This is one of her newest patterns to show there. And they start with the guideline, we call it that in pencil. And then you're going to put 2 lines to create an X. Okay, and this is the way the step out goes. And then she does more X's. I'm trying to keep those about the same distance apart. And then the next step is to bring this toward the middle of that space and do a little swirl. Same thing on this side. And I'm trying to not make such a jagged turn there, but it'll be okay. All right. So let's do the same thing on these 2 sides. And then you would do the same thing over here. And you can practice with it a little bit before you start doing this. I know a lot of you like to watch this first, and that's a great idea. And so my little swirl that's coming around on each side, it's going to meet up. And you could even do this before you do your next X. Give you a little bit better idea of how far apart to do that. Okay, so you would just continue like that. And then within each of these X's, you're going to put a heart. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing on each one of these. You can vary the size, the shapes. If you look at tanglepatterns.com, she shows some variations. So for instance, you could make them come all the way up to the top here. You make these come closer to the center. So varying the size definitely makes a difference. Right? When you turn it into a ribbon, it's really pretty. So let's go for it. So I'm going to come a little bit, starting on this kind of guide that we put in my X. I'm coming outside of my border, and that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and do these before I put down my next X, just to see if I space it better. Oh, that's a wide one. Okay. Go ahead and bring that one around. Bring this one around. I'm trying to soften this so it's not obviously coming off of an X. Come over here and do the same thing. Okay, so we're just going to continue like that. I think I get my spacing better that way. But you do it do some practicing with it and do what's most comfortable for you. Again, I just found this pattern this morning, and I've only done it once, so except for when I showed you how to do it and make it twice. So this is my third time. Let's hope it looks good. And the way that I'm putting these 3 patterns together is a little bit different, but you know what? Everybody does things different. And that's one thing I've learned by watching some of the other ladies who post the videos. I think, that's an interesting combination. So that's what I have today, is an interesting combination. Okay, well, that worked out pretty good. So let's go back and put our hearts. I think I'm going to do my hearts closer to this size, but you can see, I like that too. All right, let's just go for it. Let's make it kind of big. Try to keep my hand out of the way so that the camera focuses right. So again, I'm using that line kind of as a guide. So just going to make a lot of hearts. I'm going to bring this up just to about the center of these little swirls here. Trying to remind myself to relax my grip, take a deep breath, just enjoy doing this. Sometimes it's hard on these patterns to keep my hand out of the way so that the camera focuses on the pattern and not on my hand. And that means that my hand is further up on the pin. So that's why I have to remind myself to relax. This is a pretty little pattern. And I was really happy with how it looked once I got all the hearts into it. And she also puts another border along the top. Go to Tangle Patterns website and check it out. But I'm not doing that. Oops. Hope I wasn't off the screen, but I think by now you know what I'm doing on this one. All right. So there you go. Once you get all the hearts in there, I think it's really pretty. I'm going to put just a little bit of, I probably should have done this as I was doing them. Just a little bit of hatching down here at the bottom. Scratching, I don't know, what do you call it? Tell you what, let's just go along all of them in this direction. And then turn it. Just a few easy lines that I pull towards me. Gives a little bit of drama there in the center. Turn it. All right. All right. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to put up here at the top is called Heartswing. And I watched Melinda Barlow teach that one, and it's one that you can find the step outs on patterncollections.com. So I'm going to start with decent size orb here, because I'm going to make it into a little bit of a gemstone. And then I'm going to come off of that. Let's talk about our takeoff. And I'm going to make a heart. Cut back around and have it meet underneath that orb. And then I'm going to come off this side of the heart, and I'm going to make another heart. And it's tucked a little bit behind that first one. And it's going to come back down and meet around that edge. Okay. I'll do that again. Little heart. And it land here. And let's do one more. And if I'm lucky, I'll get this to look good next to this. Okay, let's just pretend this one is going a little bit behind and bring it back. Let's see a little bit. Okay, and that basically is Heartswing. Kind of messed up my tip right there. Okay, so that's that one. And we'll come back and add a little bit of flourish on there. Always have to have a little bit of fescue and little things like that. Okay, the next one is called Mysterious Heart, and that's the one by Nicole Dreyer. And I think I found that one also on Pattern Collection. And for that one, we're going to start, I guess I'm about an inch down, but I'm going to put kind of an oval. Okay. And from that, I'm going to make a heart and bring it down to this tip. So you could, if you wanted to, draw it with a pencil first. If that makes you feel more comfortable, and give yourself a little bit of a string so that you're bringing it down exactly the way you want to. And then come off the other side And it may not be exactly in the center, but how's that? Now see, that's a little bit off, so I want it to come up. And I have my kneaded eraser. I'm going to fix that. I don't mind using an eraser. Okay, I think that makes that work. So now I am going to pretty much follow that line with my micron now. If I don't stay right on it, that's fine. Come down to that point. I think I'll go from here. Always turn your tile to keep your hand and your arm comfortable. Okay, yeah, that definitely looks better than the first one that I did. And this may not be exactly what they had, but it's going to be okay. Now I'm going to do another heart, and this time I'm going to freehand it. Okay. And then we're just going to borrow that. And if you want yours to look better, you might want to do it with pencil. Okay. And then the next thing that she does is she puts some lines inside of here. I'm just going to do kind of a cross hatching. So I'm putting some diagonal lines across this first. And then I'm going to turn it and come across the other way. This is a way of adding a certain look of shading without actually using your graphite. I'm going to erase that part of that because it's bugging me. Okay. So that essentially, and then the next thing is that she put these little curvy lines, makes it kind of pillowy. All right, so that's it. Those are the 3 patterns. And let's see what else we can do with them. I'm going to go ahead and put another orb here. Just kind of fill in these little spots. Okay. Let's put a couple here. And I'm going to put a few lines coming up this way. Because I'm going to use the graphite pencil or the pastel chalk pencils that will add a little bit of shading underneath those. And I'm just going to put a few little fescues coming out about. We could add Muka. And since I've got 3 patterns on here now, I'm just going to add simple fescues. Okay. I think the rest of it, we will just work on some shading. So I'm going to use this red scarlet and start up here with this bigger orb. And I'm going to lay it down kind of thick, just here on like the top third or so, plus maybe a fourth. And then here's my tortillon that I'm using mostly for red. And I'm just going to pull that down a little bit at a time, starting at the top. And then as I come down, just barely moving that. And I'm leaving a good white spot there in the center. Okay, you can come back, make this a little bit darker at the top. You can do the same thing with charcoal, your graphite pencil rather, and make what looks like a pearl or gemstone. Okay, very easy. And I've got a little bit come across there. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with this other color. And this one was this Stabilo 1400 335. I have several colors in chalk pencils. And you will note if you start using them, you get a little powder coming off on your tile. So just be careful with that. Okay, so I just put some there on the top. Try not to get it smeared. Okay, so I can do different colors on these, or I could make them all the same color. I'm not good when it comes to color. I'll just be the first to admit on that. So I'm going to come back with this one. And I'm just going to fill in the tops. And then I'm going to get my tortillon. And I'm just going to start pushing that into the paper and pulling it down. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit along each of these edges. And then just keep blow away the excess. and then just softly pull it in toward the center. And I'm going to leave a highlight there. Okay. And decisions. Let's do red. So basically going to do the same thing. Going to add a good amount of pastel chalk here on top. You could do this with watercolors, with markers, whatever you like the best. And I'm even going to go over to this other side a little bit, just to see how that looks. And you're definitely welcome to fast forward through this. I'm going to try to make it not go so long. This is heliotrope, which is kind of a purple. And since this purple, I bought a bag of tortillons from Amazon.com, and so I have a lot. Plus, when I went to my CZT seminar, I bought a couple of little bags of tortillons, but they were the white ones, and that's more like this. And I've noticed that I went outside. Okay, see, that's a nice thing about the pastels. I was able to erase that. Okay, back to the purple. And then I have kind of a pink. I'm not sure how well that's going to show up, but I'm going to try it. Okay, so I'm going to just put red in each of these. I'm going to start out just putting it there on the bottom and see how that looks. And then just smooth that out to each corner. Like I said, if you don't have pastel pencils, you can do this same thing with your graphite pencil and just do some shading. So I'm going to do the same color in each of these. I like how that's looking. So I'm adding a fair amount of pastel. just down on the tips of each one of these hearts. And then I'm keeping my tortillon on its side, so I'm not pushing it straight down like that. And it helps so that you don't ruin your tips and make them blunt. If you happen to live where there's a lot of really cold weather going on, I hope that you're safe and warm. I'm on the Gulf Coast of Texas, so we are safe. And we definitely have some warm temperatures. Okay, this looks a lot more red than it does on my screen, but it's pretty. I like how this comes out. Okay, again, I'm not sure how to put these colors together, but I think since I have that red there, I'm going to put the red on the inside of this one and come up with the different colors there for the outside. Because I'm not real thrilled with how this inside heart shape came out, but it's okay. Hopefully shading will help. Okay, so I just put the red along the edge. And I'm going to soften it and try to keep a white kind of highlighted area. I really do like using the pastel pencils. I don't do it enough. And I'm barely going to soften this one because I want to keep it dark. And I can always come back and add more of the pastel, but I don't want to go too far into the white. Wow, that's pretty. And then I'll do the, go back to the pink. So the one I just used was the scarlet red, and now I'm using the pink. Just take your time. Yeah, I think having a color on here will definitely make this look better. Okay. Tortillon time. I'm trying to keep my hand up so that I'm not putting it on top of what I've already done, but you could put a piece of paper over it. I did a recent Zinspiration class, and that's from a book by Joanne Fink. Anyway, on that I used Jelly Roll, and several times I put my hand in the Jelly Roll and then onto the other parts of my tile, and needless to say, I messed it up. So I don't want to do that on this. It's not very bright on the screen, but it's a pretty pink in person. I think I need to find another option for a camera. I'm not pleased with how my videos look because you're not seeing the colors the way that I see them. That's disappointing to me. Okay, so you could do this and then go back and add more along the edge. Oh, that's the wrong color. There we go. Pink. I want to darken that a little bit along the edges. It's always good to start out with a lighter amount, and then you can come back and add more. Okay. Hopefully that sound's not irritating. And I'm barely going to smooth this part because I want it to stay dark along the edge. All right. Okay, I think I'm gonna add some fescues coming off of this. It needs something along this edge. And I like to keep a little bit of a white tip on the end of my fescues. I think it just looks pretty. Okay. And I think I'm good. And this, like I said, is to show you a few ideas for patterns. Curious about whether or not to put something here. Well, I'll at least put a fescue. Just seems kind of empty. How's that? Okay. And then where to hang my chalk? I think it seems to want to go here. All right, there you go. I'd love to see what you've done if you do this. Thanks. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit the like button, hit the alert button if you want to know when I've put out some new videos. And have a great day and a great week. And thank you. Bye.